I need to push go live.
Oh no, that's what someone said.
Okay.
Or you can just like type.
No, they can hear me because I'm gonna be talking.
Okay.
Yeah. If you don't want to like.
I guess that does not talk.
Hi everyone. Can you guys hear me? Type yes. Yeah.
Oh no, that's what someone said.
Yay! Okay, sick. Hi everybody. Welcome to the first of many Blender lessons with Sam. Today we're gonna be like making that ring animation I posted in the chat. I'll send it right now. I'm gonna send it in the Discord.
It sounds like you have a fan on.
Let me turn it off. Oh my god. Yeah, it's like so hot in my room, so like, but I'll turn it off just for you guys. Okay, I'm gonna post the animation that we're gonna make today in the chat. Discord, let me pull it up. Just ignore the like audio, but I'm gonna send it right now. Okay. Pull up my notes on here. Let's see. Okay. So first thing I think is important, let's just like get to the basics on like how to use this software. So if you're on like a laptop and you don't have like a mouse and you're not on a Mac, you're gonna have to use this thing on the like top right to like navigate the viewport so you can like see how things look. So if you guys just like, yeah, it's just like this thing up here. Let me see. Okay. So yeah, and then first thing we're going to do is we're going to change a few things in our settings. We're going to go up to preferences. So on the top of your screen, there's like a thing that says edit, go to preferences. And then we're going to set it so that it's like rendering with if you don't have a graphics card or like you have a really bad one, you're going to go to the top right, you're going to hit none. And this will set it so that it is rendering as your like computer CPU. So if you have like a better CPU, then it'll like render a lot faster. For me, I'm just gonna have it set to this just so for time purposes, so it's like easy for me to like do this. And the next thing, we're gonna go to add-ons in this like selection options. Then we're gonna type in texture, or wait, sorry, Wrangler, and then you're gonna there's a thing that says Node Wrangler. You just want to check that box, and that will be important later when we start texturing like our rings. Also, if you guys need me to like slow down, oh shit. Selection options. We're gonna type in texture. Sorry, Wrangler, and then you're gonna. Oh wait, why is it not showing? Sorry, I'm like looking at. Sorry guys. I'll try to like. If you have questions, just like at me on Discord because I don't see it unless I. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'll slow down. Okay, yeah. So it's like not showing up on my end. I don't know why it's not showing like the options for the stream. So I'll go back. Okay. So you'll go to System on the Preferences tab, and then at the top there should be a thing like there's like None, CUDA, Optics, or OpenCL. Just select None, and then I'll stop there. And let me know when everyone's ready. This is like so boring.
No, I don't care.
Okay.
I'm not bored.
Okay, good. None. Okay, and then next thing, on the same like tab on the side, you're gonna select add-ons, and Um,
boring.
then you're gonna type in the search bar. There's like a little like search thing. You're gonna type in Wrangler, and that will come useful for later. And then you'll just select like the little box in that like add-on and just like enable it. Then you're gonna type in the search bar. There's like a little like search thing. You're gonna type in Wrangler, and that will come useful for later. And then you'll just select like the little box in that like add-on and just like enable it. Then you're gonna type in the search bar. Oh god, you can hear it back. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. If it's like above add-on or like input. Yeah, yeehaw. Okay. And then next thing above the add-ons, when we do that, above that there's a thing that says animation, and this one's like super important. Yeah, it's under preferences. Next thing, there's like a thing above the add-ons thing, tab. It's like animation. For the default setting for this is going to be like, I think it's exponential. You'll click on the default interpolation and change that to linear, because that way the animations will like be able to loop. And that's like really important for this animation specifically, and all animations that are like looping. Yeah, what Shiva said. And change that to linear, because that way the my voice. Okay. Okay. Cool. So let's start out by adding the ring. So you're gonna have like a default cube. You'll just push X on your keyboard to delete that, and then you'll just hit delete. And next we're gonna add, so you're gonna want to hit Shift A, and that's how you add like objects into like, I guess like, I don't know, this place, this area, I don't know what it's called, but so hit Shift A, and then you go to Mesh, and then click down to Torus, and then on the bottom right corner or bottom left corner, there's going to be like a little box with an arrow. Click on that, and this is going to give us options to like change how many segments and like how many, the thickness, and like how just it looks in general. So first thing, we're going to want to change the major radius. Probably want to make it a little bit wider just because, you know, it looks nicer. And then change the inner one. This is going to be the thickness of it. I'm going to change it to about probably like 2.3 because that looks nice. And then once you click, like, yeah, Shift A, Torus. Actually, I think that's a little bit too thick. I'm going to make it a little thicker. So I put it to 2.4. Okay, cool. So to change the radius, you'll click on, so there's like a little box on the bottom left corner. It'll say Add Torus with like an arrow. Click on that arrow, and then you'll be able to change the settings on this like thing, on this like object. And this is for all objects that you like, all meshes, I guess, in Blender that you like import or add. So just like, that's a good thing to like keep in mind, because once you click out of this, you can't go back and change it. So make sure you have it like, you know, how you want it to be. And then the major radius, major is going to be the like size of it, and then the exterior interior is going to be the like the thickness and width of it. And then yeah, let me know when you guys are at this point. And then the major radius, major is going to be the like size of it, and then the exterior interior is going to be the like the thickness and width of it. And then yeah, let me know when you guys are at this point. And then the major radius, major. I'm looking at myself. Size of it, and then the exterior. I can hear myself. So if you don't have it, just like delete the object, because you can't change it once you've clicked out of it. So just hit X and delete it, and then reopen it, and then don't click on anything. Like the bottom right corner, there should be or bottom left corner, sorry, there should be a little box. Looks like this. It's like right here. That's where you're gonna be able to like adjust the settings. Can I hit that? What? You can talk.
No.
Oh wait, I have one. Okay, so I'm gonna move on now. Just if you guys have questions, what? Yeah. Just feel free to like. Okay, cool. So okay, so now we're gonna just like click out of this, and the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna rotate this on the y-axis. So you're gonna hit R on your keyboard, and then you're gonna hit Y, and then on the number pad type 90, and then that's gonna get it just like this way. It's okay if you moved it. If you just hit, like, you can move it any direction. Just like if you hit G and then you hit, for example, X, and you want to get it to the like thing, or you can just hit Control Z if you just like want to redo. So you just click on the little cursor, this guy, to move the origin point. Click on that, and then, click up here. There's like a thing that says cursor on the bottom or the top left corner. Click on this, and then you'll be able to move it, just so that it's like easier to move around. I don't usually ever move it just because I don't like need to. But yeah, it's like this thing right here. You'll be able to change the origin point of where the camera or the viewport is like showing this thing. Okay, so next thing we're just gonna click on our little object guy, and then we're gonna put it. Gonna go to on this right side. Gonna click on this like gray or this yellow box, and then we're gonna type in. Actually, so we're gonna make sure. So click on this yellow box. We're gonna make sure that the frame is at 0, which is this thing right here. It'll change that to 0, and then while you're down here, change this to I think 150 is what I had it set originally. And this is going to be the end of it. Change it to 150, and then this is going to be where we like have the animation. So if you like push spacebar, you'll be able to see the animation and everything, how it's moving. But we haven't done anything yet, because that's what we'll do next. Is we're going to animate the little ring guy. So in where it says 1, type in 0, and then go over here. You're gonna on the Y. Actually, not the Y, on the X. Sorry. Oh shit. sorry, on the X, we're going to type in negative 360. And then on your keyboard, hit I. With that selected. Actually, yeah. Don't click I. Sorry, click on the next to the X. There's like a little circle that says animate, and just hit that. And then once you do that, go to frame 151. And then on here, you're just going to type 360. And then you'll just hit this triangle guy right here. So now if we hit spacebar, you can see it's rotating. And we've got our first part of our animation set up. And it loops, so that's what we want. So success. And then we're going to add another ring. So to do that, you hit Shift D on your keyboard. Oh shit. Just gonna. Okay, so we're gonna just go to frame 0. So hit Shift D and then just click and then hit S. That's how you scale the object, and we're just gonna scale it just like, you know, a little bit.
Okay, something I have an animation button.
Oh shit. It's the little like dot. It's like there's like a little dot on this right here. It says animate property. Oh, it's literally so hot in here. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, scale the object, and then next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna animate this ring. Do I click it for all of them? No, don't click it for all of them, because we want to animate them all individually. So for this ring, we're gonna just change the X to 0, just so that this doesn't like change. And then go to frame 151 again, change it to 0 so this doesn't move. I have no idea. Okay, so yeah, we don't want that one to move, so I don't know why that's still moving. I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
Yeah, go to frame 151 and then hit 0 on here.
Tiny code.
Why is that still moving? Damn it. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, that's why. Okay, bam. Hit that. Bam, bam, bam. Cool, not moving. Awesome. Okay, and then on the Y, we're just going to change the same thing, negative 360 on the 0. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's really hot in here. So yeah, negative 360. And there's a back door you can go out. Same thing, hit this square, go to frame 151. And then hit 360, enter, and then animate. So yeah, now we have this guy, this type of thing. And then we're gonna add one more ring. And we're just gonna like keep this ring the same. We're just gonna take the bigger one on the outside, and then we're just gonna scale that down. So duplicate, Shift D, click S to scale it down, and then we're just gonna make it like just big enough to fit inside that other ring. And then I'm gonna fix this middle ring just so that it like all fits together. And then yeah, if we see, we have a looping animation, but if you look, these two are moving at the same time, and we don't want that. We want them to like be like opposite. So to fix that, we just have to switch like the dimensions, or I guess the rotations of the animations for that ring. So we just go back to 0, and then for this one, we're gonna set it to 360. Animate. And 151. Change this to negative 360. And hit animate. And then now, they're moving oppositely, and it looks beautiful. If we click on the camera on this guy right here, there's like a little like camera button. You can just like see it, you know, how it's gonna look when you render it. So now that we got that, let me know if you guys have any questions about how to do this. Change this to negative 360. And hit animate. And then now, they're moving oppositely, and it looks beautiful. If we click on the camera on this guy right here, there's like a little like camera button. You can just like see it, you know, how it's gonna look when you render it. The boy I'm talking to is over. So now that we got that, let me know if you guys have any questions about how to do this. Since this is negative. Okay, so the next step we're gonna do is we're gonna keyframes aren't setting. Well, I'm not sure why it's not like setting. Okay, yeah, I'll just continue on. Cool. So next thing we're gonna do is that we are going to see how these are all like just like kind of gross and like look chunky and gross. So there's a way to fix that. So I'm just gonna go to the very first frame, and then you're gonna right click on all of these, and there's a button that says Shade Smooth. So if we do Shade Smooth for all of these, it's gonna make it nice and smooth. However, if you see, they're still like kind of like, you know what I mean, bumpy, and they don't look as good. So what we're gonna do, so if we go onto we're gonna add a modifier, and this is gonna make it like look really smooth. And modifiers are like a really cool thing to use for really like, there's a whole bunch of things you can do with them, but for today we're just gonna use the subsurface modifier, which is gonna add a lot more segments and things to do with on the like actual model. And so if we click on the little wrench over here on the right corner, there's gonna be a thing, and then you're gonna click add modifier, and then you're gonna go down. It's towards the bottom on like the middle second row. It says subdivision surface, and so now this is gonna just add a lot more polygons and faces to the actual model, so it'll look smoother. And then you're gonna, depending on your computer, if you don't have like a good computer, you don't need to like do more than one for all of these. For my purpose, I'm gonna add it to 2 just because I just want it to look super smooth. And then I'm gonna do that for all of the rings. So add, change that to 2, and then add, change that to 2. So next thing, let me just look at my notes. Sorry, give me 1 second. I just want to make sure I follow my notes. Okay, cool. Now we're gonna add a texture for all these rings. So first thing, we don't want to keep like going back and like changing everything for all the rings, so we can just edit them in all one take. What we can do is we can just do new, and then we're gonna set. So you're gonna want to, on this right hand tab, there's like a little circle guy. It says material options. It has like, I don't know, blocks and stuff. So click on that, and then you just click new material. You're gonna select on that, and then scroll down. You're gonna hit We're going to change the metallic all the way up, and then if we want to see how it looks when it's going to be rendered, click on this top corner up here. There's like a thing that says viewport shading. You're going to want to click on that, and then this is what it's going to look like when it's rendered. So this is like a good way to see how textures are looking, making sure that everything looks good. Let's see, I'm going to move this light just a little bit, and to do that, I'm going to hit G, and then we're going to hit X, because we want to move it along the X axis. And then same thing, we're going to hit G and then Z on our keyboard, and then, yeah, we'll be able to see everything a lot easier. I'm going to move it a little bit towards the center. So I hit G, Y, and just moved it. Okay, so next thing, we're going to add that texture we just made to all of the rings. So if you just go to the same option for all of these rings, you're going to go add new material, and then right here you can actually link like materials you've already made to the object. And so we're going to do that material we just made, add it to that. Same thing for this last ring, add new, use that metallic thing. Okay. And then to make it look not as like matte and dull, what we're going to do is we're going to change the roughness. We're going to bring that way down, probably to like right here, about 1.5 or 0.15. And this will just give it that like nice shiny look to it. And then next thing, so probably you're like, why doesn't it look like that good? It like looks kind of shitty. To fix that, we're going to click on the render properties, which is this little camera on the like sidebar. Hit that, and then we're going to add ambient occlusion, bloom, and then screen space reflections. So now it looks like a lot better. And I'm going to change it to like a gold color, because I don't like this color. So yeah, if you just click on, or you can choose whatever color you want. This is like, yeah, that's nice. Okay, and then next thing, this is going to be a little bit like kind of complicated for some people, so if you don't, like, if you're not able to like follow along, just kind of like pay attention. But we're going to go up to the shading tab on the top corner, top thing. I'm going to click on this, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add what's called procedural texturing, and we're going to add some like just scratches on this, just so it gives it that like nicer look to it. Like it looks just like a lot nicer, I guess. Just like a lot more realistic is the right word. So we're going to click on this top right thing, and then that says shading. Do Shift A, and then you're going to search, type in bump. We're going to plug the bump into the normal of the texture, and then we're going to add a color ramp, and we're going to plug the color of this into the height. And basically what this color ramp is for is to like it's like giving the texture, like the procedural texturing that we're going to do, a mask, so that we can control how much of the texture we can see on the model. So next thing we're going to add is we're going to add a Voronoi texture. If you just do Shift A and then just type in VOR, it should just come up with that. Then plug the distance into the factor. So now you can see like it's got a weird texture on it, and I don't really like this, so we're gonna change this to Minkowski. I don't know how to say that. So yeah, it still looks kind of bad. I don't like it that big, so we're gonna up the scale a lot, probably like way up, like 40s. And then on here we're gonna just bring this down so it's not as like intense. So yeah, you can see like little dings and scratches. And then next thing, we're just gonna turn down the strength just like enough, just so that it looks like a little bit like, you know, more realistic, I guess. And so now we look at this, and you can just see all these like little like bumps and stuff, and it looks like there's just like scratches in the metal, which just like gives it like a realistic like look, I guess. So yeah, this will be really cool. This is like a really good thing to like add to your like metallic models, just to like give it a more realistic look to things, I guess. And then let's see. I'm just gonna look at my notes really quick, just see what I have to do. What we have to do next. Okay, yeah. So next thing we're gonna add emission, and this is gonna give it like that fog effect. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to our layout, and then with this, we're just gonna hit Shift A, and then we're gonna add a cube, and then we're gonna want to scale that cube. So hit S on your keyboard, and then just scale it just so it covers everything up in your scene. And then yeah, now it just looks like it's covering it up. But now we're gonna go back to, so first thing, add a texture to it, and then go back to shading, so that you have it selected. We're gonna hit X on this principled BSDF, excuse me, hit X, and then we're gonna type in search, type in emission, or sorry, not emission, this is called volume, not emission. Type in volume, and then we're gonna add the principled volume node, plug that into the volume, and then it kind of looks like way intense, and we don't want it that intense, so I'm gonna bring it down to 0.05 on the intensity, and then on the emission strength we're gonna add 0.05, I think. No, like 0.003. So when we go into the rendered view, we can just like see that like it adds like a nice like fog effect, I guess. And the next thing we'll do is we're gonna go and click on this little globe on the right corner, and we're gonna change the color to black just so that it like looks good with the background scene, and it like looks good in all the lights and stuff. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some area lights. So I'm gonna hit Shift A, add a light, area light. I'm gonna scale that up and then bring it up GZ, and then we're going to hit GY, move it this way just so it's like over here. I'm gonna move a little bit more. Okay, and then we're gonna hit rotate R, so rotate it, and then we're gonna rotate it on the Y axis. Excuse me, the Z axis. So hit RX, the X axis. Oh my god. Okay. Then yeah, I'm gonna have it face this so it changes facing towards the model, and then to the power we're just gonna make it 1000, and then we're gonna hit Shift D to duplicate it, click G Y, bring it over here, R X, and then we're gonna rotate it and put it towards there, and then I'm just gonna bring it back just a little bit, G Y. Hold on, RX, and then just bring it up. So yeah, now when we look in our viewport, our rendered view, we can see that like it has like a nice like texture to it. And I'm just gonna turn this off just to see what it looks like. Let's see, I think that emission is just a little bit, or that fog is just like a little bit too bright. So I'm gonna bring this down to 0.001. And then change the density as well, just so that it's like barely there. This is just for like texture. And then next thing, this camera is too like zoomed in. So one really cool thing we can add in Blender is if we go over here to back to our render properties, we're gonna add motion blur, and that will give it just like a little bit of blur, just so it like adds a little bit, just looks nicer when it's like rendered. And then we're going to click on our camera up here. We're going to go down here and click on this camera, and we're going to scroll down and just, you know, bring this to about 30 just so we can see the full object in frame. And voila, we have ourselves the animation. So now I'm just going to make this cube just a little bit bigger just so that it's all in rendered view. Yeah, cool. Great. And then when you guys get to this point, you're gonna the last step is to render it. And the best way to render it is we're gonna click on those like little printer options. It's like our output settings. And click we don't want it to, we want to render it as ping files because it's a lot easier to like make an looping animation when it's like just like the frames, individual frames. And then we're gonna just, so make sure that this is set to ping. I'm gonna change the frame rate to 30, and then we're gonna do our we're gonna make a new file. I always save them to my desktop, and then I'm gonna add a new folder, and we're gonna call this I'm just gonna call this animation. Hit accept, and then double click, make sure you're in it because it can save to your desktop, and then you don't want that, it's going to be annoying to deal with. Hit accept, and then all the files will go into the that folder, all the pictures or the like little frames, and then after, when you get to that, you're going to hit render image. Or sorry, don't hit render image, render animation. And then this is going to just like render everything, and yeah, so just for time purposes, I'm not gonna like let this render, but I'm gonna show you how to like add the frames into a video. Hi, I'm almost done. So I'm just gonna show you guys how to do that. I'm just gonna use my old, the original one I made for this. I'll show you guys how to like create the actual video file itself. I'm just gonna save this tutorial. Okay, so I'm gonna open up a new project file. So hit new, and then once this is like for you guys when you're done rendering. So I'm gonna go to video editing. You guys can like go back and watch this over again. Then I'm gonna hit add. Hit image sequence, and then I'm gonna just go to the one wherever you saved it as. I'm gonna use the one I made the other day for this, and then you're gonna hit you're gonna do shift, and then you're gonna scroll all the way down, and then hit shift A, add image strip, and then change this to however many frames you set it to. It took about like 10 minutes to render like all the scenes, all the frames. Let's see, I have this to about 180, so change it to 180 on here. And then you're going to change the output, so change this to 30 frames per second. And then go down to metadata, or sorry, not metadata, post-processing. Hold on, not that. I always forget how to do this. Sorry, so you're going to change from ping, you're going to change that to FF MPEG video, and then encoding, and then you change that whatever like type of file you want it to be. QuickTime, I'm going to do that, and then I always set this to perceptually lossless, and then I just keep that the same. And then over here, also change this to the same folder just to make it, you know, organized and easy for everybody. And then over here, you're gonna hit render, and then render animation. And then once this is done rendering, you'll be able to see the video, and this will have like what you made in like a video format. So you can like post it to Twitter, you can add like a music file, and whatever you want to do with that. So yeah, that is the very first lesson in Blender. Anybody have any questions or concerns before we end this today? It's also like delayed, so I have to like wait a minute. Oh, yes. Questions or concerns before we end this today? Yeah, feel free to DM me in the Discord, like however it's easy as, DM me on Twitter, whatever. But yeah. All right. If you guys like have questions, your homework is to just get this animation like working. So yeah. Thanks all for coming and tuning in, and have a great night.